All right, welcome to the 5-week behavior challenge. Today's topic is reinforcement and punishment. So effective behavior management, as I see it, and many scholars see it, is an art and a science. And today I'm going to walk you through the components of the art aspect and the science aspect of behavior management. So for the science aspect, Pavlov and Skinner are considered the founding fathers, right, of science. It was later referred to by other researchers, Bayer, Wolf, and Riesling, as applied behavior analysis, or what we commonly refer to as ABA. So if you think of maybe some psychology courses that you've taken or from other coursework in your undergraduate programs, and if you remember maybe just hearing the story about Pavlov and training dogs, he trained dogs to salivate on cue, which was a bell. So he paired meat, which produced this reflective response for salivation, with the bell, gradually removed the meat, presented only the bell, and the dog salivated. So what he showed was that even reflexive behavior like salivation or producing saliva could be learned. This is very important. So Skinner, on the other hand, taught rats to run mazes. So we have Pavlov and Skinner. We have dogs and rats. Well, clearly we're not training dogs and rats here. We're teaching children. However, it's the principles of behavior that we need to understand to effectively teach all children. And ABA helps us to do just that. Behavior can be learned. Most behavior is learned. So we're going to go through reinforcement and punishment. Reinforcement, or reward, they can be used synonymously, and punishment are the two most important ABA principles for special educators to understand. Why? Because rewards and punishment can be very powerful when they are used with high fidelity in the classroom, and they can be very effective in a positive manner, or they can be extremely damaging when they're misused. So let's get a better understanding of rewards, or the principles of reinforcement. So direction is either up or down. The direction, or the effect rather than the intervention itself, is what determines whether something's rewarding or reinforcing. Here's an example. If a student receives points for completing an assigned task and his work completion goes up, it increases, then the points, those points themselves, what's being provided to the student for completing the task, are rewarding that student in some way. On the other hand, if the student's work completion goes down, then the points are punitive or punishing. So when principles of positive reinforcement are applied correctly, they can be highly effective. To ensure the efficacy, though, several considerations are warranted. So first, rewards must be immediate. Second, they must always be contingent on the display of the desired behavior. So what does that mean? When you see the behavior that you want to see, the desired behavior, then the reward is based exactly on that behavior. And three, the conditions of deprivation and satiation must be considered. So what is deprivation? Is when a child or a person's not getting something that they really want, and they need to have it in order to produce a behavior or demonstrate a behavior. And satiation is when something is given or presented to a child or an individual. At first, it's really rewarding. This child really likes it, and then it becomes a little duller, or they don't really care for this reward or what's being presented to them. It doesn't motivate them to keep wanting to do the desired behavior. They are satiated on that reward. So what about the art? Well, there's characteristics related to the art of reward and reinforcement. So first, it's important to think about the delivery. Is the tone warm and caring? Is it genuine rather than disingenuine? Is the teacher animated, delivering the reward or reinforcement, and enthusiastic? Are they feeling really great about what they're providing to the students, or do they not really buy into what they're doing? There's actually studies with researchers who have studied these attributes and in fact found that they really did make a difference. Also, the creativity, the art involved in ABA when it comes to reinforcement and rewards. It's important to be creative. So thinking about what kids want to earn, what they like. One of my sons really is into Star Wars. So when he performs a desired behavior over a course of time, if he is rewarded with playing with Star Wars, then that's completely reinforcing to him. But for some people, they could really care less about Star Wars, so that would not be reinforcing. Being creative and thinking about what the child likes is important. And then there's collaboration, so working with the teachers, the parents, administrators, help them understand the importance of using rewards or reinforcement with good fidelity. And then the relationships that you established with the students. They can tell very quickly whether you're real or not real, and if you like them or you don't like them. And if they suspect that either you're not real or you don't care for them, then the rewards or reinforcements will be less effective. And then having a sense of humor is always part of the art, and being able to laugh at yourself and with the kids. So to fully understand the principles of rewards and reinforcement, so not only do we need to look at the essential characteristics of the art and the science, then we also need to identify specific examples and non-examples. So rewards are not bribery. Common myth about reinforcements or rewards. The definition of bribery is actually doing somebody to get something to do something that's immoral or illegal. When we use rewards in schools, we're not trying to get students to engage in immoral or illegal acts, but we're trying to improve their academic and behavioral performance. If some of you may have heard of Dr. Alfie Kohn, in the 1990s, Alfie Kohn's a Harvard psychologist. He wrote a popular book called Punished by Rewards. As the name implies, premise that rewards actually decrease rather than increase behavior. It's a play on words. Unfortunately, Alfie Kohn misapplied research in the arts and applied it to education. So there were a number of studies that showed in the arts that when an extrinsic reinforcer was attached to creating something artistic like song or painting, then the artist's behavior actually declined. Their productivity became worse over time. So it'd be sort of like cancer researchers using the results from the studies for diabetes. So it wouldn't be ethical, and yet that's what Alfie did. So he also went on the national talk show circuit, appeared on Good Morning America, Oprah, the rounds, and conducted a series of studies while on the shows in which gave children two conditions. He sent them to a room filled with toys, gave them money only to play with certain toys. Then in that condition, the students, during a length of time, students played with the toys decline when compared to the other condition, which was sending kids into the room, giving them free choice, but not paying them. And in that condition, their play behavior, the length of time that they played with items, increased. So, Alfie Kohn concluded that the rewards were punitive. The problem was he misapplied rewards and punishment. He actually proved that the choice, having a choice, was more reinforcing than kids getting money. That's all he proved. So exactly the principle of reinforcement, the direction of the behavior, up or down, is what's important. Other interesting aspect about Alfie Kohn is that he accepted a lot of money himself for those appearances. So he was operating under the principles of reinforcement. A final consideration when it comes to non-examples is, why do we hold kids to a higher standard than we hold ourselves as adults? Would you work every day? Would you go to work every day without earning a paycheck, even if you were passionate about what you did? I don't think so. So here's a review. Reinforcement increases behavior. To be effective, reinforcement or rewards need to be immediate, contingent, and based on the conditions of deprivation and satiation. And then reinforcement is not bribery. So if you're listening to this YouTube video and you keep logging on and keep listening to it, then you have been positively reinforced. If not, well, that's another topic for another day. So this is the 5-week behavior challenge, and you are on your way to being an awesome behavior management expert. See you next time.